the nuts to be able to come out.
My name is Victorine Bitakwe. I am a Cameroonian based in Cameroon, and this channel is all about me sharing my lifestyle with you all. If you followed my Vlogmas series, you'll notice that I've been deep down about the Cameroonian culture, how we live, how we eat, how we talk, and I hope that you've been enjoying this series. I'm going to be bringing more for you guys. This footage is pretty explicit, but I'll just go ahead to explain what we are doing today. We're going to be making red oil, also known as palm oil, and we're going to be using the local method. Now, while we're growing up, we used to have this cemented floor. I don't know how they call it in your area, but in my area they call it chu, and it was made for palm nut. So we used to wash our feet and we literally mash the palm nut and produce the oil out of it. Apparently that wasn't the right thing to do, because we used to have, you know, in those days we had chica, we had many things that used to affect our feet, and we discovered that it wasn't the cleanest way to do palm oil, so we had a need for machines. Now, these are not the industrial machines, but these ones, they work just well. A quick recap on how we get to this point. The first thing you want to do is you want to harvest your palm nut and bring it back to the house. When you chop it off like you saw in the beginning, you have to cover the palm nut for it to get soft so that it gets away from its handle. Now, this is because when you just harvest the palm nut, it's so attached to its handle. That's why it's very difficult for palm nut to fall when they're on the tree. So we get to cover the palm nut with some bags for like 2 or 3 days so that it weakens from the handle and it's easy to pluck out, so it comes out in eyes like this. Now, when you've succeeded to pick out the eyes, you want to boil, and when you boil, this is when the machine now comes in. You start grinding. The palm tree is a very rich plant in these our areas. Like, there is nothing on a palm tree that doesn't have use. Let's start with the fruit. Now, palm nut can be used to make oil, what we are doing right now. It can be used to make soap. It can be used as food. The flesh is being eaten as food for human beings, for birds, for animals. Now, once you're done with the palm nut, you can crack it and you get out palm kernel. Palm kernel can be used as food. Palm kernel can be used to make oil, and this is the mayanga. We use the black and the white mayanga. We use the branches of the palm tree to make chairs, to make brooms. Now, once you're done with the palm nut and the palm kernel, the residue can be used as wood. Beehives and other carvings can be made from the trunk of a palm tree. There's a lot of things I could talk about that can be made from a palm. The tree serves as a home to animals and birds. Guys, if you remember something I have not mentioned, please drop it in the comment section. I'm going to appreciate it. Oh, did I mention that the branches of the palm tree can be used to roof houses? Yes, that's one. Guys, English is really going to fail me right now, but there's 2 kinds of palm nuts. They are the ones that are really deep. We call them deep banga, and the ones that are not very deep. The ones that are deep get to produce a lot of oil, while the ones that are not deep get to produce a lesser quantity of oil. The trees we have in the compound are deep, but the ones we have out of the compound, some of them are not deep. So this is a mixture of the deep and the undeep, if you get me. Okay, so once you go ahead and you grind like this residue, this thing falling off, not the liquid, the chaff, so we're going to put it back into the machine and grind again the second time. This time around, we're going to add a little bit of water to it. Operating this machine is usually easier when 2 people are turning the bar together. It just creates a balance and it goes faster. So we just get to turn and turn and turn until every nut has been cracked. At this point, this is what the oil looks like, but this is not oil. Like, this is oil mixed with water, mixed with dirt, and also mixed with echet. I told you guys about echet. Echet is a soup that we eat in my village, and the soup is gotten from residue of palm oil. When you produce palm oil, there's something inside that you get it and you eat with plantain. Now for the next step, you have to sit down and separate the residue of the palm nut from the chaff. And this chaff, we call it echet. Guys, echet is like petrol. When you just light fire on it, the way it catches, you're going to be shocked. So this is what we use to create fire back in the village and in the house right here. So like I said, when the separation is done, you are going to add a little bit of water to this to extract the rest of the oil that is left in it. And guys, this is the palm nut you now crack to get palm oil from it, but you can't crack it on the first days because it's still going to be wet. So you need to sun it for like 2-3 days, and it's going to be easy to crack and get out the palm kernel from it. To be more explicit, when I talk about easy, this is not a very hard nut. So when you crack it on the first days, the only problem is that you're not going to get the palm kernel full. It's going to be a destroyed palm kernel. But if you let it to get dry, you're going to crack open and get your palm kernel full, which is, I think it's nicer to eat like that. When the double extraction and the separation has been done, what you want to do now is to boil the liquid that kept falling from the machine. The one that has the oil, the one that has dirt, the one that has water. Yeah. And this is a very delicate stage because you have to be there all the time, because there's some white liquid that comes out and foams. If you're not there, it's going to pour, all of the oil is going to pour out and you're going to be left with, I don't know. Of course, you can use a bigger pot to boil this so that the oil doesn't pour out, but I think this is the biggest pot we have in the house and that's what we're going to be using. So you have to stick around and hit it so that the white thing trying to come out does not come out. You're like beating it, go back in, and the fire has to be very, very hot for you to boil this. Now what happens during this boiling process is some water gets to evaporate and the dirt goes under and the oil gets to float. Okay, water evaporates, dirt goes under, the oil floats. So what you're doing right now is making sure that the evaporation occurs without taking some of the oil. Guys, seriously, at this point, if you're not there, the oil is going to come out with the foam and you're going to lose everything since the oil is climbing up. Okay. Explanation. Now when all of the top layer water is out, you want to put the pot down and let it to cool for a little bit. Not to get cold, guys, because if it gets cold, it may coagulate. And when it coagulates, the extraction is going to be a little bit difficult. So let it cool for a bit and then carefully take off the oil from the rest of the water that is under. That's mostly the dirt. This process has to be gentle because the least mistake you make, you're going to carry water from under there, and if water gets into the oil, you're going to spoil your oil. That's how we get bad oil in the market. Now, palm oil carefully extracted could stay for more than 10 years. That's without water, because the only thing that gets to spoil the oil is if you have water in it, so it may easily mold. So this is the process of taking it gently at the top. Now, when all of the oil has been carefully taken out, just so that we don't make any mistakes, we're going to boil this again for a little bit, so that if there is any water bubble in it, it gets to come out. And at this point too, you have to be there every step of the way to make sure that the oil doesn't over bleach, or else you're just going to have your bleach oil and it's really not going to last long and it's not going to taste good. Okay, so you stick around and boil that. Once it's ready, you just close it, serve in your gallon, and your red oil is ready.